In this video, we will look at North America's most iconic amusement park chain through a different lens, the lens of tragedy. Here are the worst accidents of each operating Six Flags park in alphabetical order of the state it's located in, which should make a sad yet interesting video. All sources in the description. Their worst amusement park accident in history happened on Eagle's Flight, which once soared above the park. On February 5th, 1978, tragedy struck when a gondola car carrying a newlywed couple slipped off the cable and plummeted 50 feet to the ground, killing the husband and leaving the wife critically injured. Riders would often swing their gondola back and forth, but that trend would come to an end when it was reported that the car had slipped off when the couple was violently shaking the car. Their worst roller coaster accident happened on Colossus. In its opening year in 1978, a woman on the coaster fell out of her restraints on a 62-mile-per-hour drop and died on the impact. This was the tallest and fastest wooden coaster in the world at the time. Her restraints had remained locked in place, but she still fell out due to her being too large to properly fit into the ride and a weight limit not being properly enforced. But considering the park operates the most coasters in the world, their track record really isn't too bad. In almost 60 years of operation, the park has managed to avoid any direct deaths from both the rides and animal encounters. Their worst amusement park accident came on June 2, 2002 on the family spinning attraction Starfish, when a 4-year-old was critically injured when she slipped under the restraints and fell. The ride operator was blamed for the accident and the ride was removed from the park that year. Their worst roller coaster accident happened in 1999 on their Vekoma Boomerang. On a hot summer's day, the train failed to release from the cable on the drop, stranding riders for about 10 minutes until the cable snapped and sent the train into its course when it stalled on the Cobra Roll, stranding riders for several hours, giving some riders extreme dehydration and sunburns. Their worst amusement park accident occurred on the spinning flat ride called Wheelie, located where the 240-foot Sky Screamer now stands. In 2009, the attraction failed to stop at the end of its cycle due to a mechanical failure in the light switch and continued spinning for 10 more minutes, causing 4 children to fall ill and resulting in 1 in the hospital. Their worst roller coaster accident infamously occurred on June 28, 2008 on Batman the Ride. On a busy day at the park, a group of teens jumped 2 fences and entered the restricted area in efforts to skip the line. As the teens ran, a 17-year-old in the group was struck in the head by an incoming train, causing a decapitation. This accident was witnessed by people in the flash pass lane. Great America's worst amusement park accident occurred in 2008 at the Antoine's Ice Cream Parlor, when an employee dressed in a werewolf costume on stilts suddenly lost balance and fell through a window, injuring an unlucky guest who was buying ice cream at the wrong time. Their worst roller coaster accident happened on September 9, 1984, on the Intamin dueling coaster American Eagle, when 2 trains collided in the station, causing 3 riders to be hospitalized. Unfortunately, I couldn't find any more information on this accident. While there hasn't been any major recorded amusement park accidents in the park's history, a notable incident occurred at the park's water park when a prematurely born baby was found dead and abandoned behind the women's locker rooms. Their worst roller coaster accident happened on a coaster called Two-Face the Flipside when a mechanical failure caused the coaster to roll back into the station, hitting a pipeline carrying hydraulic fluid and spraying 10 riders on board, taking 2 people to the hospital. Their worst amusement park accident occurred on the Blizzard River raft ride. In 1999, a raft carrying 8 people flipped over, trapping them underneath about 2 feet of water. Help came in within a minute, but 1 rider was pinned under the water and could not undo their seatbelt. 7 people were injured and 1 person died. Their worst roller coaster accident happened on Superman the Ride. In 2004, a man was flung off of the 208-foot hypercoaster on the final turn of the ride and fell to his death. His figure was too wide to properly fit into the attraction due to his cerebral palsy, and was not properly secured into the T-bar restraints. A man with his disability should not have been allowed to ride the attraction. Mexico has not had any serious accidents, at least from what I can tell, so the incident I will put for their worst is an incident that occurred on the Skyflight ride in 2024. On August 18th, riders were left stranded nearly 250 feet in the air for about 10 minutes in a storm, as they dangled in their chain-hooked seats in the heavy rain and winds. Apparently, the storm came too fast for operators to bring them down. There are no documented roller coaster accidents in their history. Their worst amusement park accident occurred on the Skyway gondola ride in 1978. On July 26, a car fell off of the cable, killing 3 people on board. The park spokesman said that it simply just dropped off the cable. The attraction was e-stopped, leaving nearly 100 other riders stranded who were rescued individually by firefighters. The park's worst roller coaster accident occurred in 1984 on Railblazer. Earlier that year in '84, the River King mine train was converted into Railblazer, the world's 3rd ever stand-up coaster. But a fatal accident where a woman on board was flung out of their restraint on a fast turn, falling 20 feet to her death, caused the coaster to be changed back into the mine train coaster, which it still operates as today. Ronde's worst amusement park accident occurred on the Mississippi boat ride in 1979. On July 8th, a boat cruise attraction holding 50 people began sinking just 6 meters away from the dock, causing 3 people to drown to their death and injuring 10 others. Witnesses said that the boat had began tilting to one side as it was returning back from the tour. It was documented that many bystanders who were in the area intervened and helped, and that the death toll could have been much worse if it had happened further in the lake. Their worst coaster accident is not tragic, but happened on the Boomerang coaster Supermenage. On the coaster's final day of operation, just a few hours before its permanent closure, a restraint malfunction occurred on a seat with a passenger, causing an e-stop on the lift hill, and the coaster closed right then and there. No injuries, but still interesting. Great Adventure's worst amusement park accident occurred infamously on May 11th, 1984 in the Haunted Castle. On this day, 8 teenagers entered the walkthrough attraction, and due to a light bulb not working in the pathway, one of the teenage boys lit up a cigarette lighter, but the flame ignited a foam rubber padding, causing a rapid fire that ignited the highly flammable attraction. All 8 teens were tragically killed. Investigations found that warnings by safety consultants to install smoke detectors and fire alarms had been repeatedly ignored. This negligence was fatal. Their worst roller coaster accident occurred in 1987 on the Retro Aerodynamics double shuttle looping coaster, Lightning Loops. On June 17th, a teen on board tragically fell off of the coaster to their death. Investigations found that it wasn't a mechanical failure, but a human error, as the ride operator started the attraction without properly checking if all riders were fastened in their seats. This small Six Flags park's worst amusement park accident happened on the Sky Ride in 2017, when a young girl fell off of the gondola, falling 25 feet. Luckily though, she was saved by a group of bystanders who gathered around her and caught her. While one person on the ground injured their back, they heroically saved a much worse tragedy from happening. Now, while this may be due to their lack of roller coasters in the first place, from what I can tell, they don't have any documented roller coaster accidents. Darien Lake's worst amusement park accident happened in 2009 when a man was mysteriously found dead in a small lake located at the parking lot. He had been reported missing a day prior. The cause was never determined. Their worst roller coaster accident happened in 2011 on New York's tallest roller coaster, the Ride of Steel, when a war veteran with a double leg amputee was ejected out of the ride on the 3rd airtime hill, falling to his death. Investigations found that he was repeatedly told he could not board the ride due to his disability, but he and his family insisted that he boarded the attraction. Frontier City is the smallest Six Flags park in the chain, and their worst amusement park accident happened in 2002 on the Mystery River log flume ride. On a night ride on June 14th, 2 log flume boats violently collided into each other. 3 people on board were seriously injured and taken to St. Anthony Hospital by ambulance and treated in the emergency room. Their worst roller coaster accident happened in 2019 on the Wildcat coaster, when a tree branch fell on the coaster while going through its course, toppling over a father and son riding the attraction. The tree branch seriously injured the son. Over Texas's worst amusement park accident happened tragically in 1999 on the Roaring Rapids raft ride. On March 21st, a raft carrying 11 people left 1 dead and 10 injured. The raft suddenly began deflating and got caught in an underwater pipe which capsized the raft. The victim's family was given $4 million USD from Six Flags. Their worst coaster accident happened in 2013 on the original RMC New Texas Giant. At around sunset in Arlington, Texas, a rider was ejected out of the coaster and fell 75 feet to their death, landing on top of the coaster's second tunnel. The train returned back into the station with 1 rider missing and the restraints still locked in place where the person initially was. Investigations found that the lap bar restraints had lit up green, signaling the coaster was safe for dispatch, yet regardless the woman fell. Apparently she was too large to securely fit into the attraction, and the seat sensors had repeatedly failed to indicate that they had locked in past inspections. Fiesta Texas's worst roller coaster accident happened tragically in 2007 on Poltergeist. On a hot day in San Antonio, a teen attempting to board the attraction fell into a gap between the platform and the coaster's train in the loading station. They fell 10 feet to the concrete ground and were left paralyzed. It had reported to have been very hot that day, and the person had fainted due to heat exhaustion at the wrong time, causing this freak accident. Aside from this though, there aren't any other notable accidents in this park's history. That was a complete list of every Six Flags park's worst documented accident. Quick reminder that as tragic as these accidents are, roller coasters are extremely safe and not anything you should be worried about when visiting a park. Now, this was quite the depressing video, so if you want to cheer up your mood, then you can watch this goofy ass video on the right, or you can watch this even more depressing video on the left.